Have you ever wondered why some leaders seem less intelligent than their employees? Why do brilliant people sometimes stay in the shadows while others, less competent, climb the ladder? Really smart people are often solitary thinkers, and sometimes even failures. So what does this mean? That many successful leaders are actually idiots. People in power must have their strengths, that's obvious. But according to the Italian philosopher Machiavelli, many of them are genuinely stupid. Machiavelli's ideas can answer 4 crucial questions that will help you understand the world of work and politics. Machiavelli's 4 questions. First question: why is your company's boss often an idiot? Second question: why aren't politicians the smartest people, and why do they make bad decisions? Third question: why do dynasties end with incompetent kings and mediocre ministers? Fourth question: why do these people still get support from the public? Actually, it's the same fundamental problem repeating itself in different situations. Look at major investment banks. Why do they invest in so many companies that fail? Why do leaders make disastrous decisions? Today, let's have Machiavelli explain it all. Who was Machiavelli? Niccolò Machiavelli was a political thinker from the Italian Renaissance. He wrote The Prince, a revolutionary book about power that still influences our leaders today. His main theory: politics has nothing to do with morality. This idea, called Machiavellianism, means that politics is politics. There are no good guys or bad guys, no moral or immoral methods. What matters is how you get power and how you keep it. Young Machiavelli was idealistic. With experience, he became pragmatic. Unlike theorists before him who talked about perfect societies, Machiavelli was interested in the real world, how power actually works. Why leaders aren't the smartest. Machiavelli discovered something fascinating. Power makes you stupid. Not by accident, but systematically. Here's the mechanism. Power makes you arrogant. Arrogance prevents clear thinking. When you can't think clearly, you become stupid. This stupidity isn't just ordinary foolishness. It's structural blindness, where the person loses their capacity for judgment, reflection, and self-criticism. Machiavelli said it clearly. People are so satisfied with themselves that they lie to themselves. The real danger for a leader isn't external enemies. It's their own ignorance. This analysis wasn't just about Italy in his time. It perfectly describes today's office politics. It's exactly what we see. People who think deeply are often pushed aside because their ideas are too advanced. The problem with smart people. Imagine this situation. There's a problem to solve at work. How will a smart person convince their colleagues to follow them? They'll explain in detail, give nuanced arguments, be careful not to promise the impossible. They'll be afraid their reasoning isn't perfect, afraid they can't keep their commitments. The result? They hesitate, they doubt, they complicate. But most people don't understand these sophisticated explanations. They want simple, clear, direct answers. Machiavelli understood this. The majority only looks at appearances. Very few really understand who you are. So to be followed, it's better to look capable than to actually be capable. This is exactly what we see at work. People who appear competent rise faster than those who actually are competent. Machiavelli also noted that the qualities of intelligent people, deep thinking, moral considerations, self-criticism, can become weaknesses in politics. They paralyze action. And then smart people have a big flaw. They complicate everything. To build a factory, you just need to find land and build. But a smart person will analyze environmental impact, employment issues, transportation, evolution in 100 years. By analyzing everything, they never actually do anything. Science confirms Machiavelli. A 2017 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology proved something extraordinary. Up to an IQ of 120, the smarter you are, the better leader you become. Makes sense, right? But wait, here's the twist. Beyond 120, it's the opposite. Someone with an IQ of 140 is a worse leader than someone with an IQ of 120. So if you have a high IQ and your boss seems less intelligent, don't be surprised. It's normal. Understanding this paradox is the beginning of grasping how society really works. How real leaders get power. People who reach the top master two formidable techniques. First technique, simplify everything. They take complicated problems and give simple solutions. It's often wrong or incomplete, but people understand and follow them. The problem? By constantly simplifying, they lose touch with complex reality. Second technique, appear ultra-confident. They never doubt, promise everything, assert without nuance. They give the impression of having all the answers. It doesn't matter if they can keep their promises. What matters is convincing in the moment. Look at history. All populist leaders give simple and absolute answers. Socrates said, "I know that I know nothing." That makes him a great philosopher, but who would want to follow a leader who admits their ignorance? Conversely, how many leaders have taken power by presenting themselves as universal experts, geniuses who understand everything? The deadly power trap. Today, research confirms Machiavelli's intuition. In society, confidence appeals more than wisdom. Simple and categorical ideas seduce more than complex and correct reflections. It may be unfair, but it's the social reality we must accept. But here's the crucial question. Do these leaders who simplify everything and promise anything actually succeed? This is where the famous power paradox comes in. People capable of obtaining power are often those who will use it poorly. Power corrupts them. They start believing their own lies, and eventually they lose everything. At first, any organization, country, company, school, needs a leader who is both intelligent and capable of obtaining power. These rare gems exist. They're the founders of dynasties, creators of empires, builders of lasting institutions. But these geniuses are exceptional. Most creators fail because they don't have both qualities simultaneously. Time works against all organizations. The longer they last, the greater the risk that power falls into the hands of mediocre people. And when that happens, these people develop an illusion of omnipotence. They refuse advice, lose touch with reality, and destroy everything. This is the final trap Machiavelli identified. Power and stupidity go hand in hand. What to do concretely? Now that you understand this mechanism, the oddities of your company become clearer. If people you despise get promotions, don't be surprised anymore. And if your company is run by people who are both incompetent and bad, run. It's a sign that the organization is going to die. You're witnessing the last days of an empire. This is Machiavelli's brutal but liberating lesson. Understanding that power and intelligence don't always go together. It's unfair, it's frustrating, but that's how the world works. The key is recognizing these patterns everywhere, in politics, in corporations, in any hierarchy. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll understand why that colleague who talks confidently but knows little gets promoted, while the quiet genius stays in the background. This doesn't mean intelligence is worthless. It means understanding when and how to use it strategically. Sometimes the smartest move is knowing when not to be the smartest person in the room. Remember, Machiavelli wasn't advocating for stupidity. He was revealing uncomfortable truths about how power actually works. Knowledge is power, but only if you know how to wield it wisely. So next time you see an incompetent leader making terrible decisions, while somehow maintaining support, you'll know exactly what's happening. It's not a bug in the system. According to Machiavelli, it's a feature. What about you? Have you observed this paradox in your workplace? Let me know in the comments.